My soul got the same on my necklace, bitch.
Oh, hello and welcome to Flight Simulator 2020. It's been a while since I've done a live stream with this. Update 5 pretty much crippled the game for me on my PC. It usually can handle quite a bit, but For some reason there was a hell of a lot of issues with graphics and stuff like that, but it turns out it was actually the simulator at fault and not my PC, which is a good thing. So today's flight, it's not going to be a massively long one. It's only 100 nautical miles, give or take. If I just bring up the map, not that one, that one. So what we're going to do, we're taking off from Membury, which isn't a million miles away from where I am, and we're going to head west towards Swansea. On the way we're going to be going over Chippenham, going over Bath and Bristol, over the Severn Estuary, towards Newport, and then when we get into Wales, it's going to be Caerphilly, Pontypridd, over the Rhondda Valley for a little bit, which is just here, and then we're going to swing a little bit south and hit Port Talbot, and then we're going to be landing at Fairwood Airfield, which is just south of Swansea, looking at the map. So we should get some nice scenery. When I was actually setting up and planning the flight, it was absolutely hammering it down rain in the sim, but as you can see now, if I zoom out a little bit, the clouds have cleared a little bit, which is always nice. You see that big rainstorm that's in front of me now, towards Baden, west of me. That was what was just passing over as I was setting the sim up. I'm quite glad it did, to be fair, because that was absolutely hammering it down. We have got this one coming at us, I think, but we've got a nice little rainbow in between the two. What I'm hoping to do is get up either above or around that cloud layer, and just kind of dive in and out when we go over places. I don't know what the altitude of that cloud layer is at the minute, but we'll find out when we get up. If it's quite high up, then I'm just going to stick below it and kind of suffer the consequences of going through some of these little rain showers on the way, just so you can see what's going on the ground. I've put on the markers for this one, so you can kind of follow the route that we're taking as we go. You'll see them pop up, pop in when I look at them, and if they're in range. So we've got Chilterns behind me, Chiltern Foliot, Woodland St Mary, Shefford Woodlands, but the direction we're heading is pretty much straight out on runway heading, and then we do a little bit of a left and then west, and Swansea, our target destination, is about 94.32 nautical miles away, to be precise. So we're going to be taking off, heading towards Chippenham, and then over Bath and Bristol, Newport, Caerphilly, Pontypridd, Rhondda Valley. We're actually catching the southern end of the Rhondda Valley, and heading down a little bit more south to Port Talbot, and then we'll be landing at Swansea. So yeah, let's get in and get this plane started up. I don't fly this plane very often. I'm usually in the bigger Cessna. This is the little 172. So I've picked the longest runway with the least amount of trees at the end of it. So we should be good to get out of here. Just need to make sure. See, it's starting to rain a little bit again now. The wind. Which way is the wind going? Can't see a windsock anywhere. To be fair, oh, it is kind of going the direction I need it to. So I'm just gonna let it warm up for 2 seconds, and then I'm gonna send it out of this runway, and we should be good. If the levels are off from my microphone to the plane sim, let me know. I can alter the volumes on the fly, so to speak. But yeah, I'm just going to let it warm up a little bit, and I'm going to have a quick listen back to the stream to make sure things are going okay, and then we'll be off. well, everything to me sounds okay, but obviously if there's any issues, give us a shout on either the comment section on here or on WhatsApp. But yeah, I'm happy to go. So engage send it mode. Flaps are in. Part brake off. It started to get a little bit more rainy again after I praised the weather for clearing up a little bit. So I don't know what level that cloud layer is at, so depending on visibility of the ground I may go up above it or stay below it. A little bit of crosswind. Climbing nicely. So we put the flight director on, set to nav, autopilot should take over. I'll keep climbing. I'm doing about 1,000 foot per minute climb at the minute. Just going to see what the weather's like on the way out. It's not as bad raining as it was, but that's not to say it's perfect flying conditions. So I'll try and go up a little bit and we'll have a look to see what it's like, and then if I need to come down a little bit I will do. So Swansea, you can see that'll stay there because that's the end point destination. So you can see Oldbourne, Ramsbury's on our left. Ooh, double rainbow. I've never seen a double rainbow in this game. That's the first time, so I'll chalk that one up. We'll get an achievement for that really. But you can see with the new weather system update and the graphic update, you can see kind of individual cloud bursts of showers of rain, which is quite a little bit more realistic. I haven't got a personalised livery for this plane, so we're using the one that's most close to my green and white colours, which is the sponsored Xbox livery, which, to be fair, I quite like, to be honest. So what I'll do is I'll level it off here. So we'll hold at that altitude for now. That's just under 3,000 feet. I may kind of do a bit of cloud surfing just to kind of get round the clouds. So I hope everyone's having a good Friday. Not got much planned for the weekend. Chilling out, not working, so making the most of it. Not quite sure what golf course that is. I expect my dad would know. So these the little pop-ups with the locations are quite handy for kind of seeing roughly where we're heading and what we're flying over and stuff. So we're just who's that there? Ogbourne St Andrew. Some of the markers aren't 100% in the right position still, but it's kind of the general location. See what we're doing on the map. Yeah, we're on track. They've updated quite a bit in the last update for this. This whole system, navigation system, is all kind of new, which they did for free, which is nice. Gives me different things I can use. Help me on the route. So we're going to put a. Still learning it myself, to be fair. Put a little map in here, so we've got a copy of the map in the main display as well. So we having to look around. We'll put the weather on there, and I wonder if I can put it on the secondary display as well. Hopefully, yes. What that does, that'll show me the pockets of rain and cloud and stuff. You can see there's quite a fair bit of rain about. The yellow stuff is bad, I don't want to be going near that. But other than that, it's not too bad. It's clean sailing for now. So I'm not quite sure where the M4 is. I'll be passing over it pretty soon when I go over Chippenham. I think it's to the south of me. Yeah, this update is updated. This update is updated. The terrain meshing as well, so it's a little bit more accurate with the topography in real world, which does help a little bit. Flying in the air, you get to see a lot of stuff that you didn't even know was there. A lot of archaeological stuff as well, which has been popping up. People noticing stuff like rings in fields and stuff, especially if the photography was taken from a couple of years ago when there was that quite a bad drought. A lot of fields were kind of really dry and bare, and you could see the outline of kind of structures in the fields and stuff. A lot of these kind of weird shapes are either errors in the mapping or aliens have landed and no one told us. And that one there, it looks like a bomb crater. But, Compton Bassett. Some of these, I don't even know half these places, to be fair. Yeah, I thought I'd head into Wales today. I don't tend to go this way very much. I tend to spend a lot of my time flying in other countries, but it's nice to kind of come home a little bit and see what's going on in the backyard, sort of thing. I mean, the weather is pretty accurate to what it is outside at the minute. Looking out the window, it's pretty grey, pretty breezy. It's not raining at the minute, which is a nice thing. It's that's not the New Zealand you're thinking of. That's RAF Lynham, off to our right hand side. Fly out of there every now and again with some with the DC-6 mainly. Just brought down the sim volume a little bit because I think it's a little bit high, but let me know if it is. I can alter it back again. Head into a bit of a cloud bank. Doing something I shouldn't really be doing is flying into a cloud bank like this, but send it. Got my Red Bull and I've got my vape. Set in for a good flight. Ah, good, sounds fine. Seal of approval. So I'm running on about 25% fuel in the plane today, simply because I don't need a massive amount of fuel, plus Membury is quite a short runway and it's got trees at the end of it, so I thought I'd give myself the best chance possible to get out of there without clipping the trees. So I don't usually take this Cessna out of there, it's usually for the smaller stuff. Although this isn't a massive plane, it's a little bit bigger than the stuff I normally fly out of there. Put the pitot heat on. Stop my altitude from freezing up on me, which wouldn't be good. So we should be heading over Chippenham pretty soon, if not already. Sneaky feeling. Chippenham. Yeah. Flying over Chippenham soon. Yeah, we're just flying straight over the top of it now. I might come down about 1,000 feet just to see if the weather's any better. Although I think I'm going to be going into a little bit of better weather in a moment. It shows rain on here, but it doesn't actually show the cloud level. So these are my waypoints that I've put in. So that one was Chippenham. The next waypoint is Bath here, and then Bristol. In fact, if I bring up the other map, it'd be a bit easier to show you. So we've got Chippenham here, Bath, Bristol. Then we're going to go over the Severn Estuary to Newport, and then it should be Caerphilly, Pontypridd. That is the Rhondda Valley just there. You see the mountains start coming up on the map, and then hook a little bit of a south over Port Talbot, and that will line me up for the runway at Fairwood, which is just south of Swansea. So this flight today is more of a kind of testing out the new update, because this is the first kind of longish flight that I've done since the update, which was a couple of days ago, and I'm just trying to make sure that my computer's all running well. I was going to do a live stream tomorrow, but I might be out tomorrow with Zana, but if not, then I will be flying again. Not quite sure where I'll be flying, but it's not going to be another long one. So we want vertical speed, and then we're going to set it with a nose down, 500 feet a minute, and then we'll let that come down to about 2,000 feet, and we'll see if this cloud layer disappears. Let me know if you like the little blue dots everywhere, or you prefer to see it without the blue dots. I thought it might be a good idea for kind of figuring out where you are, especially with this cloud layer being a bit low. Got a nice rainbow following us. Can't say I recognise any of these places at the minute. Bathwick. I've heard of that place. So we should be over the top of Bath now. Yeah. You hit these places a lot faster than you think. It's going to be even a shorter flight than I thought. We're going to hook a right and then we'll head up to Bristol. What I want to try and do is pick out the bridge at Bristol, because I went there last year. That was quite a nice, was it year before? It might be the year before. It was quite a nice day trip. The suspension bridge. At the moment everything seems to be running fine sim wise. I am getting a few drops in performance, but I think that's due to the clouds that I'm flying through, which isn't an issue because that doesn't happen all the time. Yeah, 2,000 feet seems to be quite a nice altitude, to be fair. In fact, we'll level off at 1,000. I think we're below that anyway, but we'll hold it here for now. This Cessna's okay for a small aircraft, but there's not a massive amount of viewing area to the front. Some of the other planes you get quite a good panoramic, but these big bulkheads, pillars are in the way a fair bit. Just going to bring the throttle back a little bit, save some fuel. Should have more than enough to get to Swansea, but I will be picking a field if I don't. Wills Bridge, warmly off to our right. Hanham Abbots, never heard of that. St George, St Anne's Park, Hengrove, Whitchurch, Queen Charlton. Nice little river below us. So the weather's been quite, it's been a little bit rainy, but the wind hasn't been as bad as I was expecting it to be, which is nice. Take her up to about 1500 feet, just so we've got a bit of a buffer between us and the terrain. So that one here is my intended altitude, which is 1500 feet. That's my speed. 112 knots. Disregard the low fuel warnings. It's because I'm running on low fuel. So we'll set the vertical speed to 500 foot per minute climb, and that will get us up to 1500 feet. And so the terrain is coming up to meet us a little bit. Barton Hill. This should be Bristol now. Lawrence Hill. Right, the suspension bridge is off to our left hand side. So stand by, I'm just going to click the autopilot off. Now this may not be in exactly the right position or look exactly as it is, but I'm just going to check. Make sure no one's stolen the bridge. When me and Zana went there, I was quite high. It was quite higher up than I expected. I've obviously seen pictures of it in the past, but you don't really get a good perception of how big it is until you're stood on it. There's a lot of things, I suppose. So I'm going to head a little bit to the left of it and fly over it. I'm not going to fly under it because I will pancake into the water. So this helps me out a little bit as well, having these blue things up, because I can pick out the landmarks a lot easier. Me and Zana stood on the little fort there as well when we walked over the bridge. That was quite nice. We'll have to go back down there again soon. I do want to go and see Bath and Bristol and places like that. Oh, come on, you silly thing. is one bug it still has, is it's not a fan of going back into interior view. As I say, there are still a few bugs in the sim, but they're slowly getting through them. So now we're going to head over the Severn Estuary. The two bridges into Wales are a little bit north of where I'm going. There's some nice bridges, one down to our left. Doesn't give a name on that bridge. It's a bit of a shame. Quite a large docking area here. Avonmouth. We have the company I work for, Volvo Truck, they have a depot down here. It's not too far from the coast, to be fair. I remember seeing the windmills when I was down there last week. Don't know whether I'll be able to pinpoint it, but that's looks familiar there. I think that's where I come off and came in, but I don't know where their depot is. Anyway, it's somewhere down there in Avonmouth. So we're going to head off over the estuary. Got the docks down to our right hand side. I think there's a ship in the dock. Yeah. Ship down this side. A couple of ships actually. Some big container ships. That looks like an oil tanker there. So the next place we hit should be Newport in a couple of minutes. So we're currently sat at just under 1,500 feet. And doing just over 110 knots, 113 knots now. Just gonna have a little put the wind in display. So I'm heading into an 18 knot wind, which is going to help me out when I land, because it's always good to land into a headwind to give you a bit more lift so you can go slower. All in all, I think this sim is actually about 90% fixed. There are still some issues, but from what it was when they updated it the last time, it's a hell of a lot better now. So that makes me very, very happy. So we've got Redwick. So I don't know, I know quite a few of the major towns like Pontypridd. I think I've been to Port Talbot once or twice, I think. Caerphilly I've been into. But a lot of the smaller towns I wouldn't be able to tell you much history on them. There's a hell of a lot of wind turbines about. passed over 3 in Avonmouth, and there was 1 in the docks, and I've got 2 over here. What's that? Undy? I think that's meant to be Lundy. No, it might be Undy. Bishton. So there's some nice classic planes coming to the flight sim soon, which I'll be picking up. There's a DC-3, which is the smaller version of the big DC-6 that I fly, which is good for getting in and out of short runways. There's a Junkers German plane coming in the next couple of weeks, which I'll be getting as well. It's a 3-engine plane. It's got an engine on each wing and 1 on the nose. And there's a similar plane to the Cessna Caravan that I fly, which is the bigger version of this, called the Kodiak, and that's absolutely awesome for small airports and stuff like that, getting into some of these really short runways. It's actually labelling all the industrial estates as well, which is handy if you wanted to use this as a sat nav, I suppose. What have we got over there? Underwood, Martin. Not even going to try pronouncing that one. So the only trouble with this plane is the hood of the engine hides quite a bit of it. Somerton below us. No chance at all of me pronouncing that one. Shaftesbury, St Julian's, Beechwood. So we should be going over. This is going over Newport in a couple of minutes. I may have to climb up again to 2,000 feet, obviously, because the terrain is getting closer, because it's Wales and it's got lots of hills. There's no way of really filtering out. So I don't want it really to show the industrial estates. I'd rather it just to show the cities, but it's a question of picking out which one is the actual city marker. I think that should have been Newport, or maybe it's a little bit closer, a little bit further on. Should be pretty much going over Newport. Yeah, I think we've just passed Newport. Check fuel. Ooh. That's close to the red. Ah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Don't worry. No problem. No problem at all. It's Wales. There's plenty of fields to land in. To be fair, I think this Fairwood Airport is probably the closest one to us at the minute. If I needed to land and get some fuel, I'm pretty much stuck. So we're only 35 miles from Swansea anyway, so hoping we're not going to be in too much of an issue. Very nice scenery in Wales. The next flight I do, it might well be from Swansea, kind of north, so I can kind of get into North Wales and a few places like that. I spent a weekend in North Wales a couple of years ago, and it's a very nice area. Okay, so I've done that much flying on how much fuel? So it was just above the yellow. Ah, screw it, we'll be alright. He says. I don't want to have to cheat and put fuel in on the fly. Ah, there we go. Heading into Caerphilly now, just 1 mile out. I think my dad would know Caerphilly quite well. I'm going to put her up a little bit, only by another 500 feet, just so I can keep away from the ground, but keep below the clouds, because neither of which are conducive to good flying. So same as before, we'll just give ourselves 500 foot upwards a minute. So the weather's looking a bit rubbish in front. Sock right in Hawthorn. Forest. I'm hoping to pick out places that I've been to. There's Ponty. Going over Pont Creek. We're going to hit a big rainstorm in a couple of seconds, and that fuel is not looking any better. Okay. Under the guise of safety, where is my... I'm going to have to add some fuel. Yeah, I've got 6% fuel left. Take it back to 20%. We've got plenty then. Yeah, I don't want to be going through this cloud and worrying about running out of fuel at the same time. In retrospect, I probably should have been taking off at about 30% of fuel, not 25. I didn't count on a headwind, which I should have done, because the weather was pretty rubbish. See what we got outside. Is that pronounced Penrith? Penrith. I think I know that place. Ferndale. No idea. No idea. Tony Pandy. I've heard of that. Don't think I've been there. Bit of turbulence. Check the map says I shouldn't crash into any mountains because it's not red. Green means I'm above the altitude and it's ground. If it starts going a bit more yellow, it means I'm getting close to it. So there we go. Turning right. I did kind of plan to kind of go. This is the kind of, I think this is the Rhondda Valley, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So it's Pontypridd, then we were going to fly over the Rhondda. And this is where we're slightly heading south now. We're going to fly over Port Talbot. Hopefully you'll see it, because it is a little bit grey and miserable. I'm probably going to clear that hill by about 100 foot. Be a good guess if I do. I planned that well. Although I think the next mountain might be a little bit higher. Yes. Autopilot off. Firewall the throttle a little bit. Yeah, the mountain in front of me was considerably higher than the one I just passed over. Probably pick up a little bit of turbulence now, I think, as we're flying over these hills, especially in this weather. It's kind of greyed itself out a little bit, but should be good to go back to normal route now, although I might bring it up by another 500 feet just to make sure, although I think that was the highest peak for a while. Let me just check. Not a big fan of flying into pea soup, but I think I should be okay height wise. Just well, this is going to make landing interesting if this cloud layer stays where it is. So I'll keep it at that height. Get back on course. We're only 15 mile-ish. 15 nautical miles off. Not quite sure how long that would take. Let me have a look. We should be landing. The next waypoint is in about 3 minutes, which should be Port Talbot, if I have made my calculations correctly. Yeah, Port Talbot, and then we go over the bay a little bit, and then Swansea is about here. Map options, try Click unrestricted. See, that one there is a little bit brighter, but this shows me better kind of the level of the terrain around me. So the red stuff means that I'll hit it. The yellow stuff means that I'll probably bounce off of it. And the green stuff is good. That's well below me. This green patch here is a rainstorm off to our right. Not that you'd notice it, because we're stuck in pea soup at the moment. So we've got Port Talbot on the nose. That's just under 3 miles. Yeah, I've been toying with getting a helicopter for this, because I could always kind of land it kind of in the grounds of certain places, and that'd be quite cool to kind of see some of these buildings a little bit closer up. Because obviously I need, if I'm flying the little Cub aircraft, then I need quite a small runway, but it's a little bit easier when I've got a helicopter. I can pretty much land straight on top of stuff. Yes, this is definitely pea soup. So if we got an 18 knot headwind, yeah, and that's heading east, then this weather that I'm flying through now will be hitting where I live in the not too distant future. The docks. Could have guessed that. Port Talbot below us. Making a bit of a right bank now and heading towards the airfield. 10 miles out. I will take full manual control in about 5 miles, nautical miles. I don't know quite why it's showing all these industrial estates and stuff like that. I don't need to know that. I just want a kind of marker for the city. I'll have to go into the settings and have a look later, I think. There's little waypoints off to our right. That's what the little stick things are. They're waypoints that have yet to be found off in the distance. So yeah, we're flying over the bay now. I'm just going to start getting set up for the landing, which is going to be an instrumentation landing more than anything else, I think. I'm going to set this to... Come on, zoom in, thank you. Let's bring up the main map. See which way the runway goes. Now I did select the runway to go pretty much straight in, which is good because I've got a headwind still. So we'll be landing at this airfield here, which might actually be the main Swansea airport, which is just outside Fairwood, by the sound of it. So we're good on oil pressure and temperature. Exhaust gas temperature is good. My vacuum system is a little bit low for some reason. Battery is good on volts, 28 volts and 11 amps. I'll chuck on the landing lights and associated paraphernalia. turn down the avionics brightness a little bit. Don't need panel lights. Just make sure the landing lights have come on. Not that you know. So I'm going to turn off the autopilot. Trim it nose down a little bit so I can get below this cloud layer. Come back off the throttle. So we should be pretty much going straight in. Can't remember what runway it was, but should be going straight in on it, he says. So okay, zoom in a little bit. Is the equivalent of sitting forward in the seat. So we're currently at 1800 feet, 110 knots, descending at 850 feet per minute. Really want to get down below this cloud, but the cloud is touching the ground, so we're screwed. So I want to be a little bit left of that Swansea marker. That should take me straight in on the runway. Hopefully the runway lights are on with the weather, and that should help me pick it out from a little bit of a further distance away. Okay, going down through 1300 feet, 120 knots. Cool. Right, so the runway I need is off to the left. See that now? So that's 2 stages of flaps down. Runway lights aren't on, but luckily I don't need them. Where that marker for Swansea is, to the left of that is the runway I'm heading to. As you can see, the map display has gone yellow because it's sending me a warning to say I'm going to hit something in a minute. That's the runway I'm heading for. It's quite a short runway. It's actually not in use anymore, as you can tell by the cross marks on the front end of the runway. And that kind of denotes that it's not being used for anything, but I could call this a runway test. So we've got the second stage of flaps down. Slightly fast at the minute, but I'd rather have too much speed than fall out of the sky, if you know what I mean. Because as soon as I clear these trees, I can just bring the throttle all the way back to idle. Speed is bleeding off quite fast, but it's not going to be fast enough for me to worry about. We're on the ground. Start braking. The headwind helped quite a bit on that, to be fair. I was able to get quite a bit slower than I needed to. So just head up to the end of this runway. I'm not quite sure where the taxiways are on this. I think there's one off to the right at the end of here, I seem to remember. I'm looking at the map. I think there is. So we'll follow this taxiway back to the main kind of hangars, and then we'll power down, and I'll call that done. Can't see a lot in that view, as you can tell, because I'm over the grass. So yeah, that was Membury to Swansea. I think it was a little bit. How long have we been on? I don't know. I can't remember how long it's been. But it should have been about 100 nautical miles, which in retrospect is about 30% fuel, not 25%. We're going to taxi back to the hangar. I don't think all these trees are here on the airfield, to be fair. Main control tower over there. This does look like quite a big runway. I'm going to head over the main active runway, and I don't see a plane up there anyway. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the short-ish flight today. Let me know in the comments whether you like the little blue things all over the place, or you prefer me to just kind of wing it and pick them out as I go. So I'm quite happy with the sim, to be fair. The update 6 has cured a lot of the issues I had from the update 5, because invariably they update stuff and break half of it. They do seem to have done a good job of sorting out some of the glaringly obvious issues that anyone with half a brain could have spotted before they released it, but we won't go there. It's TBM on the left there. I've got a choice of a few people here. We'll go for the middle one. Yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed the flight. If you're watching it live, thank you very much. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. If you're watching it after the fact, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I generally do these for my own benefit, but it's always nice to know someone's watching and someone cares. Flying is a big passion of mine. Eventually, one day when I win the lottery, I'll finish off my pilot's license. But until then, this will have to do. So we shall power off. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all again in the not too distant future. So it might be on tomorrow, the flying, or I might play the U-boat sim that I've got. Although I have to do a bit of digging into that, get used to it a little bit more. But yeah, thank you very much, and see you all again soon.